Tomorrow show. 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 Oh yeah. Tomorrow show. Yeah, good. Yeah. You got that singer. You gotta sing that live, right? You do that?
The Tomorrow Show.
Oh shit, that's probably good.
Woo! The Tomorrow Show.
That's awesome. Woo!
Hi.
Welcome to the Tomorrow Show Brunch Special. And we love coming to you on Sundays in previous weeks, but this one's really special.
This is a good week. I'm Erin D.
Special.
I'm Erin D.
I'm AC.
I'm Mike V. This is the Tomorrow Show Brunch Special, and grab your coffee. Tell your Twitch friends to get up in here. We're gonna have some fun from 11 to 1.
Yeah.
Around.
So why is today so special for the Tomorrow Show?
Well, if you notice up in the corner there, Art Gives Us Hope Festival. This is day 3. A lot of cool stuff happening today.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff that has happened Friday and Saturday. Did you watch the Hope Lounge
I
after
did.
party?
It was super fun.
AC. Did
Well,
you have fun?
I was there.
I was there. I was
I
there.
was definitely there.
How about your how about that Siri wants to talk?
My computer has this dumb thing where the thing thinks it hears me wanting something. I don't want anything right now. Lady with an S word name.
Yeah.
I won't say it,
But
it's interrupting.
AC, what did you think of your reading? Your tarot reading?
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
Shut
It's
up.
pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nikki
I
Jean.
mean, they're vague, but like not vague. It's
No.
like they're not really as vague as you would think they would be, but
They can be pretty spot on for sure. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but seems like the people that we've run into, like on the Tomorrow Show, when we search for goodness and we have guests on and we talk to them about the things that help them get to tomorrow, we've explored some pretty cool stuff. Like with Brie Kelly, we did the Oracle cards and the Angel cards decks. And then just last night on the Hope Lounge installment, we got to experience the tarot reading from Nikki Jean down in Nashville, Carl's sister.
yeah.
It was cool. It was really cool to get to know them. And we got to catch up with some old homies. It was so great to see Jackson and Christy.
That song.
That song that Jackson performed was amazing. And if you just kind of roll the dial back throughout the weekend, you can go check out some of the things that you may have missed. There was a bunch of really wonderful guests Friday, Saturday, supporting the Art Gives Us Hope Festival, talking about self-expression and how they found to process and get your emotions out in a way that's not quite as self-destructive as other choices we sometimes make, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that more today, I'm sure.
Yeah. So what's the Tomorrow Show all about, honey?
It's about finding things that get you to tomorrow, I would say.
Yeah. And
How would you put it?
I think that nails it right on the head. Every little thing matters. We're all matter and it matters. Science joke. But my point in that is all the little things that do make you smile or do make you laugh, those are probably the most valuable things that we have. So by filling up your toolbox with ways to feel those good things is a way to combat and punch the bad ones in the face. I don't condone violence. You can punch your bad feelings in the face.
Yeah, that's fine.
You like that?
Yeah, like hearing you say this, I'm like, where's he going with this?
Yeah.
So you saw the feature artist Shannon Conway's
Yeah.
collaboration that's being sold as a print and as a t-shirt. 50-50 proceeds go to the Hope for Us Network and the artist, because you got to take care of your people, pouring out their soul. But it's this bed scene with stars, and art gives us hope. The ghosties coming out from under the bed.
Yeah.
And the symbolism. Go back and listen to Shannon talk about that, because it's really special, and how it intersects with our mental health. But yeah, like those little ghosties, knock them one real quick, right?
Yeah, man.
With some positivity, a positivity punch, right?
Aw.
So check out Shannon Conway's Etsy store, because there's some really, really cool shit. There's like 6 different designs that support the festival. And
we got some yesterday.
yeah, we had to
And
order
it
it up.
was
We
so-
couldn't resist.
It was so hard for me not to choose which one I wanted, but it was awesome.
There's so many colors too. I was amazed by the options
that's
of
the
sizes
hardest
and
part.
colors. So it sounds like the Conways are a pretty dope family, and it was cool to learn about you, Shannon. I believe that was Friday. Yeah, when I heard Shannon talk on the stream. Yeah, so definitely keep an eye on all of those artists, because there's other feature artists. Allison Poplet did something for us. Selena Lee, Myron Laban, Christy Lopez.
You can go back and watch it all, right?
There's a 3D. There's that very, very cool
Gallery's awesome.
3D gallery that you can go into and move around the virtual space into the different wings that each artist have.
And that'll be up until the 2nd.
The 2nd of
of
January. But not only that, there was the private screening yesterday of One Woman Hamlet. And as you maybe heard in the broadcast with Carl, the reason that the showings of these films are private, the screenings, is so that they can still qualify for all these awesome film festival opportunities.
Right.
So if you want to support that, there are tickets for the private screening. And today you got another film to check out. So those films are going to be available to continue to watch until January 2nd as well. So when you have some downtime during your holidays and you're trying to maybe punch those bad feelings in the face with some positivity, check out some of the programming, the entertainment that's being housed here on Twitch, because the network has got some stuff happening this weekend. It's been pretty fantastic. It's got me charged up.
I just
Charged up.
realized I have these polar bear pajamas on because it's the brunch special, and I just realized there's a Yeti in there too. I think this is a Yeti.
That could be a Yeti.
He has
On
horns.
three, let's stand up and show off our pajamas. 1, 2, 3.
I can't move that fast.
Sorry.
Look at these PJ pants. Dogs, polar bears.
I
Class.
because these were the warmest. The other ones are
Yes.
super thin.
Yeah.
This was actually AC's idea to wear PJs for the brunch special, and man, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, man. If we're gonna be streaming before noon on a Sunday,
Yeah.
pajama sun.
That's the way to go.
Yes, indeed.
Cool.
So what do we got going on the show today for the brunch special? It's super duper special.
So we got some people who do film stuff. They
Yeah.
do,
And I heard they write as well. From
write,
Birdie.
and they take pictures, and they make movies, and they make art. And we have a musician, and we have a fine artist.
Yeah, visual artist. I look forward
Visual is the word I was
to
looking
learning
for.
more about Caroline. Got a photographer.
Yep.
Very
They
special
take
friend.
pictures. That's what I'm saying.
And
It's Rob.
yeah, just in general, we've got like a really, really good mix of things happening today. For Searching for Goodness, we've got 4 guests.
It's a lot of gas.
And we get to pick their brains about how art in all its forms gives us hope.
So I'll start. Art for me is like,
And what's your art?
It's probably saved my life several times. I watch a lot of art. I like to just like dabble in a lot of crafts. I've always like hesitated at calling myself an artist, but like why? I probably should. But yeah, I just do like lots of little crafts, and I went to film school and I studied art history also, so it's really important to me. Yeah, I like need a daily dose of some sort of art form for sure.
Well, you went to film school too. Like you, for a time in your life, wanted to create film for a living. So I think it's going to be really cool to hear you and Justin kind of talk and connect on that passion and how that art form brings hope to your lives in various ways.
Yeah.
I think storytelling is like that empathy builder, right? You learn other people's stories that you don't experience through like a really well-made film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a really well-written book or whatever. So yeah.
I've been watching this Norwegian like Christmas show.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm like, what's going on down there?
It's really interesting though, because I don't speak Norwegian. So I've had to like listen to her. You don't know the way that someone's voice, like what kind of inflection they use if you don't speak the language yet. So I don't know if she's being sarcastic. And so I'm just reading the subtitles, right? I don't know if she's like being silly or sarcastic. It took me like a little while to like get to know this main character because I don't speak Norwegian. And so you're just reading the subtitles. And in that way, it sort of feels like you're also reading a book.
That's cool.
It's kind of like you're seeing it like acted out. It's just like been an interesting, I've never like, I've watched lots of foreign films, but I've never watched like this many minutes or hours of one thing, right?
Well, and also
in one language. So it's like, it's interesting to see how it's like unfolding.
Well, foreign films, maybe not in everybody's like, kind of tool bucket, but they're pretty neat, but you don't hear too much Norwegian.
Yeah.
Is the other thing that I was thinking about when I heard it from upstairs. I was like, I don't know that language.
And I was reading,
don't hear that language often.
This is just interesting. I looked it up, and Norwegian, Swedish, and Danish are basically like the same language.
What?
But they have like certain words that they would say differently. It would be like the same thing.
Dialect.
Like they would rather, what the internet was saying was that they would rather speak English to each other because their accents are so different. And they'll use different words for certain things. So that's kind of similar. Like I remember, it's like when people in Mexico are speaking Spanish versus somebody in Spain, there's, they'll tell you that they're, they're kind of mushy mouthed, or like they kind of like slur their words a little nuances more, or they use all these different words for things that we don't use. So like that's kind of, I guess, what it's like. And I had no idea they were basically the same language with those nuances. Would
it be a fair parallel to say Spanish spoken in Spain, Spanish spoken in Mexico?
Yeah. Or for us, for instance, more like Britain English versus US English. And then like, I don't know, like the South or something.
Sure.
Or like Cajun sort of, so it's like you would have these, like, I gotta wave down a lorry, and we're like, gotta catch a cab.
And in answer to your question about what film, we were talking about a Norwegian show.
Oh, it's a show. Sorry, yeah, it's called
Home for Christmas.
Home for Christmas. Yeah, it's on Netflix. But
yeah, so that's your art.
Anyway,
what's your art? Your art? Yeah.
Art.
Okay.
You like music and you like looking
We-
at art?
We all definitely know about
I like music, but I
your
like
propensity for music.
I like there's two things that I really like art-wise. I love street art.
Mm-hmm.
If I see something cool in the streets, like graffiti or a mural, like I'll stop and check it out. The other art that I really enjoy, which might throw people off, I don't know.
Is Nutcrackers.
That is a good one. Nutcrackers.
We found out that AC loves Nutcrackers last night. Sorry.
Huge Nutcracker fan.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
You'll see more of that in a moment.
The art of comedy
Woo!
is something that I truly
That's a
love
good
and
one.
enjoy.
Stand up is so challenging.
Yeah, I love to watch it.
Like comedy writers?
Like I don't understand. Like I'll be watching like a comedy special, or if I go out to a club or a bar and like watching comedians, and I'm just like,
I know.
like hot, like the timing and just everything and that goes involved with that to me is like a crazy art. And those are the two things art wise outside of music that
Nice.
I truly love and appreciate.
Nice.
Yeah, and I guess it's like not really a surprise that we like art in the musical sense, because we do Theory and Beats as a recurrent segment on the Tomorrow Show. But if I was to answer outside of music, if you pass me that book and that card,
This one?
yeah, that one right there, and then the cow thing right there.
I was wondering what that was. I thought it was a moose.
Well, so
That's
for
a
one,
Highland cow from Scotland.
For one, I made this card for my wife's birthday because she likes cows.
It's super cute.
But it's an old magazine. You just like the picture, cut it out, add some embellishments with a Sharpie, and like I felt really good to make something. So I love collage. I love cutting things out too, like and making layers and surreal type of just random things. But people that write books are so disciplined, and writing comedy is not too different as far as like the discipline it requires to like create this world and like draw people into it. But whenever I look at a book too, I always love like the artistic aesthetic layout. This is a beautiful gift I got from our friend Brittany
Like
Selters. Thank you
graphic,
so much.
That's graphic design.
But this is a Questlove book where the art of collecting music kind of like timelines from 71 to present. Like Questlove's the man to do it with an excellent collection of records.
Something you can't really see is that it has like these textural elements. Like the record is kind of shiny. So I think that's like really, I love that stuff too.
And I'm so glad that we get to kind of talk to somebody that is kind of documenting music that is history happening right now later on the show. Rob, I see you in the chat there. So the art of documenting things.
How cool is it that like he was a musician and he like made it, and he is like gained the confidence to put all his knowledge into this book of history.
It's pretty cool. And for anybody that doesn't know, Questlove's real name, Amir. He is the band leader of The Roots, and just got his hand in a lot of other things as well. The Roots are the Tonight Show band, Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show, and I think one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen may have been The Roots. They were opening for 311, and I don't know how 311 could take the stage every night after what they do.
I'm sure they might have felt the same.
Yeah, but
so
cool.
Ben in the chat said, "What isn't art?" And I think that is a good point.
Ben, our consummate theologian, philosopher.
Yeah,
we love you, Ben. If you want to see an art form of interviewing, please go back and watch Ben interview Sidney Boudelier. Ben, you got that je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais what?
Je ne sais quoi. That I don't know what. That's just like natural bit. So, but let's share with our viewership today this special Christmas installment, holiday installment of Theory and Beats, where you'll learn about AC's really special memory of the Nutcracker as a young man, and why he has this meaningful collection. Because whatever collections you have, stamps, books, records, if they mean a lot to you, that's a pretty special collection. And you'll also get to see a song in the making. So thank you for cheering the bits. We love bits. Keep cheering them bits. Keep gifting subs and making this a really fun place to be. And invite your friends over to Twitch. Network if you can. Lay it on us. The next installment. Theory and Beats. I'm excited for this one. I don't know about you. For Theory and Beats this week, we should make a Christmas beat.
Scared that I'm failing, scared of regret. Scared that I'm failing, scared of regret. Scared you don't like me, but you don't even know me yet. Scared that I'm failing, scared of regret. Scared that I'm failing, scared of regret. Scared you don't like me, but you don't even know me yet.
Terrified Friday night, I'm at my wits end. The reason what to do. So just not feeling it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I got it. Make a beat with Mike V, Christmas style. Yeah. That's the idea. That's what we'll do. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, what's up?
What are you listening to?
I was born in France, in
Twitch
Clermont.
thing?
It's in the middle of France.
Is it Carl and So talking?
I think so. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, so as a kid I was allowed into comics, but mostly French comics, so that would be Asterix, Tintin, I don't know how you say it in English.
I'll be playing on my phone.
That led me to
The phone's a serious thing. Don't be touching on my phone.
Come on, man.
I think one of the things that stands out to me that I mentioned before is the university.
Doing this beat?
It was awesome. It's awesome that you're. Sorry, I was like sucked in, Carl talking, and his guests and how they have conversations. It's just rules. His artwork's amazing too. Whew. Man, I am fucking pumped up about this Art Gives Us Hope festival. But yeah, we should get to work on our beat. What kind of beat do you want to make?
Christmas beat. Oh, should we do
Oh man, so many. Are you gonna put it on your phone too? Oh yeah, definitely. Turn on all the volumes.
It's
Amazing.
a bit different, I think, because it's a bit longer.
Let's hear the volumes on the rest.
I think I want to try to do more longer comics like this one.
Okay, that's exciting. That's great.
Yeah.
And again, I think
Oh my
that
goodness.
just to underscore
So you got phone, iPad, and laptop.
Fall to the network. It's your work.
I can't handle it. It's too intense.
Phenomenal.
It's too
phenomenal
intense.
that, you know,
Just one
sometimes
voice, one
you
set
can
of
only talk-
voices.
Sometimes you can only talk about one thing so many ways.
Oh boy.
Maybe there's to go deeper or expand on a topic, not just to sort of
Christmas. So, what are some of your favorite like Christmas songs to inspire us?
This is it. Favorite Christmas song of all time. This song was pretty much made famous by U2. They covered it back in like 87, 88.
You too. Love this jam. It reminds me of the Stevie Wonder Christmas jam. It's got that same Motown vibe. Mic right in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing fancy, just like all vibe. What the fuck? We should listen to some Nutcracker for inspiration because this is the fucking craziest shit right here.
A lot of people don't know this, but the first play my mother ever took me to was the Nutcracker. I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Nutcracker's baller.
She didn't know that it was like all silent and just music.
Yeah.
She was terrified that I was gonna act up and cry. Total opposite. I sat through like the whole like 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Nutcracker, and ever since.
Yeah.
And so I got Nutcrackers. I got a collection of them. About to hang them up in the studio.
Yes. That shit's great.
Seriously. Nutcrackers.
Is that a Mrs. Claus Nutcracker?
Yeah.
That's tight. Oh man, that one right there is a king, right? By your synthesizer?
You ever seen Nutcracker on Ice?
Have I ever seen Nutcracker on Ice? No. I actually was watching some of that like Nutcracker ballet stuff this morning. The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy and like the Waltz of the Flowers, I think. But yeah, man, it's a beautiful story about going when you were young and it just being music, no dialogue, and being such an epic story anyway. It's not even like a story so much. It's just like makes you feel like whisked away to a magical place. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nutcracker on Ice. Isn't the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy the Tetris song too? Love me some Tetris. Oh my goodness. Nutcracker, dude. On motherfucking ice.
Yeah, man, it's dope, dude. I'm telling you.
This shit is wild.
Yeah, man, Nutcracker on Ice, kid. It's the illest thing ever.
Those melodies from Nutcracker, I think, might be kind of cool to reference a couple of them. Would you mind pulling up like Sugar Plum Fairies, that melody? Maybe that can inspire us like with the drums, like how we're gonna approach our drums or our rhythm or our tempo even. The Royal Ballet. The Royal.
Yeah, totally Home Alone.
You could like feel like a pocket in there, can't you? Unless you wanted to start with something that's not drums for a change, like we can do that. Like we can do like some strings like that are like being percussive. You got like a a pizzicato kind of package there. Or we can fuck with a loop. Maybe some of those pizzicato strings. You know what I mean by pizzicato, right? Like the bling, 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 where they're plucked instead of using a bow.
Mm-hmm.
Bows. Can you see what the harp sounds like? Maybe it's harp as far as those presets. Does it do 2 at a time? Or just 1 at a time? That kind of sounds like pizzicato to me. What do you think? Are you figuring it out? Oh man, I'm so excited that we found a sound we like. Right down there. Oh my god, it's so loud. I just like.
Yeah, you don't need to have it on your monitors. You can just hear it from the headphones.
That's really distorted sounding. We'll have like a little bendy, just like one guitar bendy. Bells, dude. Fucking bells. It's coming along.
It's so hot, dude. I was playing this for like a minute, for like 20 minutes, just back and forth. Then ready?
You fixed it, I see. Some nutcracker shit.
That's the beauty of fucking friendship and professionalism and being a musician. Because when we first were working on this, no matter what, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, we're always going to be friends. We were definitely button heads. The vibe was off.
I was being a butthole.
And I was like,
I'm stressed out about the holiday stuff.
no, it's all good. But it was like, that's like when you know, like, you're friends. It's like, all right, like, okay, like, we're good. Like, we're fine. Like, we, like, it's not yelling. Like, you can tell, like, there's, you know, and like, remember when I, like, went back to, like, my MPC?
Yeah.
I was kind of, what are you doing? You were like, well, you already, and I was like,
Like, what are you doing?
and I was like, okay, like, I was like, I didn't want to, like, try and, like it, sure, it could have been, like, as easy as been, like, hey, it's easier to just make the beat here and then just bring it over. Because with GarageBand, when you're making beats, it doesn't always line up. And that was, like, a perfect example of what happened. So I was just like, you know what? We're going to reconnect later, and the break will be fine. I'll go back and redo the beat. It'll be, like... And now we can do whatever else we want with this.
Do you think it needs more shit?
I don't really think it does.
It's pretty awesome.
It's pretty good.
We gotta put some words on it, right? The holidays are heavy.
But it's good.
This is gonna be a hot track. Hot track, hot track.
Oh, hey.
No food and drink. We got to get on that Hope Lounge stream here in a little bit, so I guess we're gonna have to come back to this beat to finish it in a two-parter.
Two-parter.
Oh man, it's gonna be so worth it.
Will it be a two-parter, a three-parter, or a four-parter? Because
I don't know.
technically
Can't
we've
commit.
seen each other 3 times today.
The red sash, again, without being a spoiler, especially for people who don't know anything about Hamlet, the first time I saw the red sashes, I was like, ah! Like, I didn't like popcorn. So, working with your team, how long did, and you said it took hours and everything, but working with your team overall?
So awesome.
Ooh, man,
So proud.
that's hard.
Hope Lounge, backstage,
I hope you have a wonderful night.
pre-show.
Next question. From
My man,
at the very
Carl.
least, Monday through January 1st.
Look at him. Look at him.
We don't want to show forever and never, so that it ends.
Look at him.
Collect. And that's just as full disclosure. So stay tuned with them.
Coca-Cola, by the way.
That was fun, man.
That was a lot of fun.
Good job.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to the network. Shout out to the Hope for Us network. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to Christy. Shout out to my man Jackson. Shout out to all of you that were watching us tonight. It was a lot of fun. We
Can
had
you
a
hear
good
the
time.
beat again?
What?
Can you hear the beat one more time? I'm proud of it. You did so good in fixing it. I know it's kind of late. Just don't turn it up very loud.
Do. I want to add that. Like, like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, bring something into it to, like, really amp it up a little bit more.
You know the holidays are heavy. You know the holidays are heavy. Sing with me. Sing with me, AC.
I'm basking in it. Wait.
Yeah. 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 It's so awesome, man. The fucking bells. Those clappy claps, dude. So fire.
And then right here is where your guitar lick will come in. Do. Like, I gotta add some more bass kicks in there. I really like set it off.
And the holidays are heavy, 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 heavy.
No auto-tune. No auto-tune.
Never. Nuvenvan. Oh, I'm so glad we got pizzicato strings, bro. Pizzicato. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So good.
And then?
Combination. Oh, it's so fun, dude. Well, I can't wait to finish that one with you.
That's a hot track.
Show
Started from absolutely nothing to having issues and problems. Getting worked the fuck out to being like, dude, that's hot shit.
I knew it was perfect, but not perfect, and that was why I was frustrated. But you fixed it. 'Cause you're the man.
No, you're the man.
3 beats.
That whole like that, like that track, like that, So dope. I when I had to master the track from the other thing, like to not forget it because I got so many other beats. It's like this is a frustrated beat. It's so simple, but we're frustrated. And I was like, I know I won't forget that shit. So that's why I like frustrated beat clap, frustrated beat 2. But that way I don't lose it because I have so many beats. I know I can look at that and be like, oh yeah, I remember what that beat is. But it ended up being a hot track, man. When this is done,
I can't wait to make it a fully produced track with you. We should put it out, man.
should put a lot of tracks out.
We should put a lot of tracks out. Quarantine Chronicles Volume 2, eh?
I'd like to welcome all you My
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. All right.
Fun.
I love your special collection. I love that song. I'm excited. And let's move on from theory and beats to searching for goodness and bring on our guests. If we got Rob in the house, let's get Rob Haberman on screen. Rob Haberman!
Oh, Rob.
Hey, dude.
How's it going, guys?
On tour right now, huh?
Yeah, I'm actually at my grandmother's house. Coincidentally, our hotel is like literally 15 minutes from where she lives, so I'm stopping by for some breakfast and then driving to LA tonight, or like in a few minutes. But
Wow.
for a sold-out show at a place called the Peppermint Lounge.
awesome.
Man, who are you on tour with?
Craig Owens. He used to be in a band called Chiodos and a bunch of bands that I've been listening to since I was like 15 years old. So
Yeah.
Didn't Craig play an in-store private show at Sip of Hope?
yes, the first and I believe only.
Yeah, I think so too. And it was apparently very special. I heard about that show from Allison for like months after.
It was that show is actually how we got connected.
I worked at SIP. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
He reached out to me about because they had done like Craig had done a acoustic show at the old office on Belmont and Clark.
Oh, okay.
And then he was like, "Hey, do you still work for them?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can we do another show there?" And I was like, "No, but we have Sip of Hope." And that was the first. That's how the first show happened. That didn't sound good.
She's fine.
We're okay.
She's
We're okay.
dramatic.
I was protecting AC.
The cat doesn't like me very much.
Can't be vicious, I guess.
Yeah.
Luna's just kind of she's special.
All right.
But,
I feel like a lot of cats are.
yeah, definitely. Man, that's so cool that you got connected that way, and now you and Craig have been working together a bunch.
Yeah. I'm I don't want to say working for him full time, but with how much work we've been doing together, it's basically like that. I did a couple tours this year, just these solo acoustic tours, and then we went to Virginia for a festival and did like a whole bunch of stuff there. And then I actually spent like 2.5 weeks with him and his other band, Drugs. It's an acronym for Destroy, Rebuild Until God Shows. They basically like put out an album 10 years ago, and now they're like Craig is like making a super group again. So I was in LA with them for like 2.5 weeks with them like recording, and I was like documenting it all. It was awesome. And now I'm doing this tour, and then they actually just announced pretty much a full US tour in like February that I'm going on with them. So that'll be awesome.
Wow, that's awesome.
There's no better person to be documenting it, man.
Yeah.
You can capture a moment like no other, and just
to.
one of the great rock and roll photographers of our time, if you ask me.
And weddings sometimes.
Oh hell yeah! Me and Erin, when we celebrated our wedding at long last, after things had died down a little bit, late October, Rob was kind enough to come and shoot at our wedding and got some really beautiful,
They're so gorgeous.
beautiful
Thank
moments
you.
for
Thank
me
you.
and my family, and just that moment.
I think the thing with you, Rob, is that you look around and you're very like aware of everything that's going on and like able to just catch a moment really fast.
Thank you. I appreciate
And it's just like, I can't believe, like, when you took us out at some point, Rob like took us out of the little tent and just like took a few couple photos.
Yeah.
And it was probably not even 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I feel like you did those so nicely.
Thank you.
So it's, couples go out and do those for like hours at a time, and you did it so fast and they were so good.
Natural. You've seen
A
some
lot
of these guys' photos, right?
Like getting their photo taken, so I try to make it quick and painless.
Yeah.
They like the photos, but don't like the actual act of like, holding this or put your cheek right here.
Yeah.
Try to get it done as quick as possible.
Yeah, we appreciated it so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And you capture moments of people like in the middle of like the air, jumping off a drum riser, rock kick, just massive rock moments. So
last night Craig did an emo night in Phoenix, and he actually climbed and like hung upside down on the ceiling, and I, like he about kicked me when he went up there, but it was awesome.
So how many shows into the tour are you?
This is tonight is the last night.
Okay.
This is the 9th show, I believe.
Nice.
We've been like West Coast. We started up in Washington and then kind of made our way down to Vegas and then the emo night in Arizona. And now I'm headed to LA and then dropping the guys off and then bringing the van back up to Seattle and then flying home.
Cool.
Wow.
We miss being on tour for sure. I know this
believe
guy's
it.
itching to get back on tour some way or another.
Yes.
So get in the van.
Yeah.
We only have you for a limited time today, right? Because you gotta be driving
back on the road to go to LA.
Well, hell yeah, man. Real quick before we have to kind of send you on your way, obviously your art form, photography, like how did you get into it, and like how does it continue to nourish your soul, like and give you hope?
So I got into it because I used to have my own nonprofit that basically helped kids dealing with like suicidal thoughts and like primarily with like self-harm or suicidal ideations and stuff like that. So I had a random record label reach out to me. I wasn't a photographer or anything. I didn't even own a camera. And they're like, yeah, we have this band that, like really likes your message or whatever. And we want to work with you. And I was like, okay, cool. That's awesome. They're like, yeah, can you come and do like an interview of this band? I'm like, yeah, sure. That'd be awesome. And then like 2 days before the show, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even have a camera. What am I going to record this on? Like, I don't know what to do. So I went and got a Best Buy credit card and bought a camera there and started filming. And I actually am like still friends with those guys now. That was like 7 or 8 years ago, but that's how I got started. And like, once I did that, I was hooked and I was like, I want to do this every day of my life. And now I am doing it every day of my life. But I think for me, it's like I kind of alluded to, like I struggled with self-harm for a long time. And this is like a positive way. Well, okay, for me, the music that I primarily photograph is very high energy and like aggression and stuff like that. So for me, that's like a safe way to get out like a lot of emotion, but not like, in a negative, like self-harm sort of way. So that's how it helps me. And personally, I think since I listen to that music, I can connect that much more. And I feel like that, like I can produce better work when I'm feeling like more connected to the music,
Yeah, it's like pulsing through you, and you like are anticipating the moments that you're capturing almost.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
that's really cool.
I love that you just went after it. Like you were like, I'm gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
To whatever end.
I had a little notepad that I kept in my toolbox at work that I started at the beginning of last year, and one of the things was quit this place and go on tour, and now here it is. It's kind of like I didn't think it was going to happen, but here we are.
Oh,
that's awesome, man. And Guardrails says what's up. They're the music feature later this evening, I believe, and I've never heard you called the Habe, but the Habe sounds sounds pretty good.
All the chats. In some parts of the Chicago music industry, I'm known as Habermania, and there's a story behind it. Apparently, one time at a venue that escapes my mind, I was walking across stage, and apparently, the way in which I walked, I looked like Hulk Hogan. So Hulk Hogan and Haberman kind of just lend itself to Habermania.
I love it.
Perfect.
What, like in your mind, what are some of the shows that you were standing there shooting and you're like, I can't believe this is my job right now?
Honestly, a lot of these recent like solo runs or like solo shows with Craig, because he's like an artist that I've listened to for like literally 15 years. It's like a couple days ago, I was literally just like sitting on stage, like I'm literally like getting paid to live my dream. Like I literally have had dreams about being on this exact thing, like being in California with Craig, and now it's happening. So a lot of these like smaller intimate shows are like what I really like, because it's the music that I connect to a lot, and even though it's like acoustic, Craig like throws down, and there's like still sometimes mosh pits at these shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, everybody,
you deserve it. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Everybody needs to know, you are very deserving of this. And if you haven't checked out Craig Owens and his multiple musical projects, definitely do that. But make sure you go show Rob some love.
Thank you very much.
They can find you on Instagram, and is that the preferred way to go about it, or you got a website you want?
All my socials are just Rob Haberman photo.
Oh yeah. Do either of you have any questions for Rob before we let him get back in the van and keep logging the miles?
Too many. I feel like we should bring him back.
We should bring
a part two.
We should bring Rob back on for a part two, maybe at the top of the new year, and we can hear how the tour wrapped up.
Definitely, that'd be awesome.
Hell yeah, man! Give your granny some love for us, and
she's watching.
Feel free to hang out as long as you like or can, and we're gonna start bringing on the other guests for the Art Gives Us Hope Festival. Yeah. Sound good?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, drive safe and have fun. And
such a big fan of
Hopefully
Rob.
See you guys soon.
Yeah.
I love that. And we got Don dropping your Instagram in the chat too, so people can go check out all the cool stuff that Rob has got going on. And yeah. Let's see who we got next. Let's bring Justin on, joining us from California.
Hey, everybody.
Hell yeah, Justin, what's up?
Not too much. Excited to be here.
Yeah.
And you're old friends with this one right here. I feel.
Yeah, I've known Erin from. I went back to the Sip of Hope days since 2018. I just that became my workplace. I was working out of there like every day, and we ended up chatting about movies constantly.
Yeah, that was so fun. Just like we don't really use the bar so much anymore, but you just sit at the bar and chat with us. It was great.
Yeah, it's one of the things I think I missed the most from being forced inside with COVID was just like, I can't interact with people. I can't sit here and get out of my own head.
Yeah. You were mostly going there. You were writing most of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mostly was working in advertising, I was doing some market testing. I remember I was working for TikTok and just was like,
what?
Yeah, early TikTok. I was creating ads for TikTok to run on Snapchat. I remember that was the last.
That's
I did not know that.
Yeah, the digital snake eating itself.
Right.
Like I didn't even know who the client was. We'd get these emails about like, you need to make videos with these filters. I was like, Snapchat filters, TikTok filters. Like, I had no idea, but that would always go into Sip of Hope because it's like always that like warm feeling you're looking for than just like sitting in a room by yourself, which is like one of the weird parts about like creating art or working. It's just like with writing, you're just like, I'm just so tired of being in my own head and staring at a wall. I was like, at least the coffee shop, there's people, it's moving. Like, I've always been a big proponent of working outside the house.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
And when I would stumble in there and catch snippets of conversations, you're talking about all sorts of cool film stuff, and then one of our favorite random places on Milwaukee. You know, remember that store?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oddities. It was like a video store.
Odd Obsession.
Odd Obsessions, and we would. There was like a skate shop over there too.
Right.
Little strip of Milwaukee.
Yeah, that little like weird Bucktown, like unfiltered. I always loved that strip because like I could never figure out what it wanted to be. And so,
like even now it's like there's just because I don't believe, is the store still there?
No, the store closed. It's now like a boxing CrossFit gym, which I feel is
that's like the antithesis of a video store.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
But
funny.
Like you still got the skate shop. You still got like the weird vibes on that block. Like
Odd Obsessions was awesome though because they had every so many kinds of films that you would want.
Like you could find those concert DVDs that are super random. You could find like any show that was ever put on DVD.
Lots of films, lots of like
foreign stuff, anime.
Yeah,
videos.
I volunteered there for like almost 2 years. Like I was like, it was like from March, like, and it was always just because you could get to talk with movies or whoever kind of stumbled in there because it's like you're like a video store in 2018, 2019. That's strange as hell. And so then you could have like people just like exactly that. They're like, what do you have? I'm like, we have everything. We have, and there's all those like weird Ghani's movie posters like that the guy who owned the store would bring back from Deadly Prey. That was like, it would always pull in people like, just what is this? Like, is it an art exhibit? Is it, can I actually rent movies? There'd be like people without IDs trying to like just take movies. And I was like, it was like really felt like you were connected to the neighborhood in like a really interesting way that I like. Plus, it was an excuse for me to watch movies all Sunday. So
yeah, that's
like,
really cool.
I would just put on the weirdest thing in there and just be like, all right, this is what we're doing. We're doing
perfect. That's awesome.
But it like kept me connected to like what I actually like about making movies and film, where it's like a lot of times you're like, you know, it's like a weird art form where it's like very collaborative, it's very expensive, and so like you got to remind yourself why you actually like it. You got to like, it was a chance to like reconnect to everything you really were.
That's awesome. So are you making films then?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm always like, I have like a weird career that goes all kinds of different ways, but like, yeah, I just like have kind of started doing short films myself just to like, because I was mostly like directing commercials and doing TikTok videos for brands, and like it's fine, it pays bills, but it's not exactly what you like hope to do. And so I've like moved out to LA. I've been taking some meetings. I'm like, and I did 2 short films that like, it was nice to just be like, okay, I'm taking all my friends and doing it how I used to, where it was like, there's not a lot of money to do it, but like, let's get creative. Let's do some weird, like, you know, we did a big giant cyberpunk short film that like,
oh, so fun.
Yeah, it was just like doing all kinds of like practical effects, and there's a fight scene in it. And it was just like this chance to kind of get back to what I actually wanted to make. Cause like, you know, you sort of, I found I've lost sight over the years where I'm like, you just sort of go where the job is, or go like, I want to make this, whatever's selling, you kind of say yes to. Like I started out in comedy, and now I'm kind of more over to like what I loved as a kid, which was like action movies and horror. And it's been kind of cool to like reunite with what I actually like about this business and love. And so because like I grew up, you know, loving Star Wars. Like that's in the like I think a lot of times with film, people like try to get too fancy with it and say they like this or that. And I'm like, deep down, we all just want Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, like the stuff you watch over and over and over is the fun shit, and that's what I want to like make, and like that's my goal always, is to kind of like make the stuff that you would watch over and over. Because, like, you know, I can make very arty film about depression, which, you know, I've done. But I'm also like, you know, in the end, people want is like an uplift. It's like, you know, it's kind of like comedy. They want to know that you sense what they're going through, but also remind them there's hope at the end, which is, again, very, I think, what this network is all about. Like,
right. Like, yeah, there's the typical sort of the plot that goes, you know, like, here's this character that we like. They go through from trial and tribulations, and then, you know, and then there's hope and something figures itself out at the end. And that's classic.
Yeah, you want that kind of, like, in the end, I think people want something that gives them joy or catharsis, like makes them feel like the stuff you return to all the time. I think there's a place for all kinds of art and darker stuff. And, like, certainly I find myself drawn to that stuff. But in the end, what I actually want is to make is something that, like, connects. You know, you're lots of people like, that's why people like Marvel movies so much, is it's just like they're these big things that feel consistent and make them feel happy. And, like, I can't be mad at that, even though I might want, like, some darker, weirder stuff to be out in the world more. But, like, that in the end is the stuff we're all here for. And so, like, as a filmmaker, it's stuff, because that's something I think about all the time, is like, well, who is my audience for this? I'm always very jealous of, like, watching the theory of beats beating and, like, seeing how quickly you guys got to work and make something. And film is just, Erin, you know, it's just so big and so many steps. And so, like, you can't just be like, grab a camera, tomorrow we go. And so I've been trying to get back to that, like, kind of DIY punk rock. Which is great about, like, the low budget
film, is that you can just, they do just grab their pals. And there's, I'm interested in that stuff too, because I think that there can be real moments of, like, real meaningfulness in those smaller films that is lovely. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think me and AC can totally appreciate one small sliver of the work that goes into filmmaking. Because when we were on the road and stuff, we would both, like, be on our phones in iMovie making little, like, tour vids, like the home videos of bands that we loved growing up. And even that, like, you get sucked into, like, trying to, like, just clip the end of a clip, and before you know it,
the music just
lining up. Before you know it, like, 10 hours has passed, and you're like, Jesus, it's dark out.
It looks completely different now. Yeah, it's that the time, like, you just always feel. It's like, I always say, it's like art via math problem, where you're like, I have to get these 8 shots to make this scene work, and we have 10 hours minus this start time and to set up lights, and then you're just like, I have 15 minutes. So I went from, like, it's like in my head, I'm always just going, we have 10 minutes. We had 12 hours, and now it's 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's the thrill of it too. Like, that's our closest we get to be, like, performing live, where you're just like, okay, what if I shift this around? Like, you got to be flexible, and I dig that about filmmaking. I think that's one of the fun parts, is the flexibility and kind of changing as you go. I'm not like these, like, filmmakers like Kubrick, who are like, they see the whole movie before they start, and then they force it on. Like, I'm like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could live in that world. But I like the collaborativeness of filmmaking. It's like summer camp. You get to hang out with a bunch of people, see them day after day, hopefully make something good at the end of it. But
that's what I love about it too. And I love, like, that's what I loved about theater.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Nutcracker. That's what I love about all of those kind of mediums, is, like, working with a bunch of people to make this one thing. And it's so
such a cool way to build mutual trust and build, like, a really close-knit community of people. Like, if you're depending on one another to, like, execute, like, this creative vision collectively, it's a cool way to, like, get close to somebody. And I'd say that happens when we're just focused on making music too. Even during that Theory and Beats, there was a little point in time where in the afternoon where we're both probably hungry. And I was irritable and stressed out about some holiday plans that I have to make some decisions about due to, like, all the risk factors in play.
Yeah.
So just needed to, like, step away for, like, a few hours, go get some food and stuff like that. And AC was just, like, super chill the whole time, even though I was, like, kind of you know the Snickers commercial where like Joe Pesci and they're like, "Here, have a Snickers."
Yeah.
That's
And
what you do.
back in the day. Yeah, I was just like, I was getting a little cranky Joe Pesci, wasn't I?
Yeah.
It's true though. Like I once worked as like a production assistant on the big Transformers movies they did in Chicago, and that's like Michael Bay, like King, the biggest budgets in the world, and he basically had an assistant that would run. He would get cranky and yell at people, and they would just give him a peanut butter sandwich like every other like 40 minutes, and that would like calm him down. That they basically had someone fully on staff who was just making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and handing it to him because he.
I need some protein.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, because like
I'm Gray.
It's hard to step away from projects though.
Here,
sometimes.
Mr. Bay. Here, Mr.
Yeah,
Bay.
here you go. Here's your because like I remember it was like four of us. We were on one of the bridges downtown Chicago, and he runs up to us. He's like, "Those boats you see, I need them out of the water." And then he just like walks away, and we're just like, "I don't even know who to call to do this."
I need the boats out of the water.
And then the peanut butter person comes running after him, like, "It's no, we're on it."
He needs peanut butter.
That's great.
Yeah, it's. Hopefully I'm not like that on set because I think my job on smaller productions is like stay calm. So like everything always goes wrong. Aaron, you've shot so like it just immediate. I don't know what it is about filmmaking that it just draws out equipment breaking and things.
Yeah, something will happen.
It's like you're just when you set out to make a movie, you're going, "Hey, universe, I want you to screw with me in as many ways as possible," and like you're up for the challenge, and it makes you feel alive. So I feel like for my job, where the crew is trying to solve problems, and I have the the nice job of like kind of being above it but being affected by it. I feel like you should stay calm and not start yelling or like because you hit those points where you get irritable or you're low energy and like it can feed off people. So I just like drink a ton of coffee and I'm like just staying high energy the whole day, and so like I feel like that's really important for everyone who's collaborating with you to have fun. Like they're not like you can view it as they work for you. You can view it as like we're all artists trying to collaborate and make one thing that may be in my head, but you're like, I want you all in here. I want you to come in and see what I'm thinking and then put your stamp on it. It's something I always try to tell people I collaborate with. Like, give me your weirdest, strangest take. Like, like when I was just talking to a costume designer, I was like, take the wildest idea you have and bring it to me. Cause like, it's definitely gonna be better than something I'm gonna think of. I think like as an artist, being humble kind of helps sometimes to be like, I don't have all the answers. Like,
Yeah.
I
love that.
Yeah,
That's
you got
fun.
blind spots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's cool to have people fill those in with ideas that you would have never ever considered.
Yeah.
We're gonna definitely continue to talk with Justin. If you'll stick around with us. I think we have Caroline and Jahari also waiting in the wing.
Oh yeah, bring them on.
Some other artists of different modalities, so we can kind of get to know some more friends with the Art Gives Us Hope Festival and mix it up here.
Absolutely.
So, is Caroline backstage? Can we bring Caroline on?
Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Am I saying your name right? Is it Caroline?
Yeah, it's Caroline.
Okay, cool. Caroline. And is that one of your amazing pet portraits behind you?
It is. I'm working on a painting of my boyfriend's sister-in-law's dogs. So
they're great.
They're the little jowls.
I know, little faces. They're so funny. Like they're big cinder block heads. So
awesome. So tell us like a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you got into painting, and I'm glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me too. And so I actually, I'm a scientist in my regular life, but I've always really loved art. And I actually, when I was little, there was this little art studio in my town growing up that was a school for kids to go learn how to paint. So I went to the Acorn Gallery, and that was what I wanted to do after school. So I would go there starting from when I was 8 through when I was 16. I went to painting school, and I loved that. So I actually started as an oil painter. And I did art all through high school, and I actually had the intention of going to art school after high school, and had all the plans for that, but then it actually cost too much money to go to art school for me, and I got a good scholarship at a liberal arts college, so I ended up going there with the intention of still doing visual art, and I've always loved biology, so I thought maybe I want to be a medical illustrator. something like that.
Oh, man.
And when I ended up in college, I had these really bad experiences with my art professors, and it made it really unenjoyable. And I felt like I was getting graded on something I was doing as sort of like an emotional sort of release for me. And that made me feel, like getting judged and getting like a C on a painting you spent a really long time on is not a great feeling. So I actually left my art major and ended up just doing science. But I've always kept doing art and kept painting. Painting's my main medium. I've actually started trying to get better at digital art. My partner bought me an iPad, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to do this. So that's what I've started getting a little bit more into. But yeah, I've the one thing about science is as soon as you tell people that you can make art, they want you to make all of their figures for their papers. That's the keep it a secret, or design T-shirts and things like that. But
yeah.
Wow, that's something I've kept doing. Yeah,
that's so awesome.
And
so
I actually
we have the painting represented. We have the film represented, and we also have our friend Jahari of the network, another person who makes music, waiting in the wings. So do we want to bring on Jahari and get a quick intro on Jahari, and then we could ask the whole group some of these questions about self-expression?
Okay.
Does that sound like a good plan? All right.
Mike, I just texted you, but they are not back.
Okay. Well, perfect.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I appreciate that, Dan. And Jahari, hope everything's okay, and hope we can check out your music another time on the Tomorrow Show.
Yeah, no pressure.
Perfect. Well, then.
I love some of that stuff that you said, Caroline. It makes sense that you would be paired with our show, I think, because I love science and nature.
Animals climbing around all over.
Yeah, and I think that it's really cool. I do a little bit of like taxidermy stuff, and I think
that's amazing.
Really, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know you can't see it, but on my wall behind me, I have a whole collection of skulls hanging on the wall, and super into all that stuff. So
yeah, I think some people just think it's so weird. I don't always talk about it, but
would you like me to grab a skull for you?
No, that's okay. But yeah, I think it's so interesting how so many scientists and artists sort of like do end up overlapping. That does overlap so much, and there's something about it all that kind of can go together. So yeah, that's really neat. So your art is sort of, is it a hobby for you, or is it like your day job is being a scientist or a biologist?
Yeah, so I actually I got a lot more involved in sort of like putting my art out in the public. I think 4 years ago, I was fundraising for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And I set a goal for myself of $10,000 because it was the 10-year anniversary of my dad dying by suicide. And so I really wanted to raise that amount of money. And what I did was I started doing pet portraits for people who made substantial donations. And I raised about $4,000 through pet portraits, which ended up being somewhere around like 45 paintings. That was really painful, like 6 months, but I got them all done. Wow. And after I did that, people kept asking like, oh, I still want this stuff. Like, you should sell your art, you should sell your drawings. And actually, so set up, like, I guess I call it a small business, Etsy. I sell my pet portraits, I have available. I take private commissions for all kinds of stuff. I sell prints and stuff. And then I think one of the coolest things that's happened to me in the last 2 years or so is like I've started making like cover art for bands and band merch.
Oh, that's really cool.
And I've always been like, big emo kid at heart, and like having these like, punk pop punk bands be like, can you make our shirts? I'm like, oh, so cool. So yeah, that's something I've started doing too. But yeah, it's definitely like my side gig. But I love it. And I also love that it's not my whole life, because I feel like sometimes when you work on something all the time, you start to like resent it a little bit. And I've never felt that way about my painting, except when I have 75 Christmas commissions and I'm starting to lose it a little, but
that makes sense. Yes,
Look what Ben
that's
said.
so cool. Yeah, he says, to me, both science and art involve expression, and often they intersect in terms of creativity and passion. I think that's perfect.
Will you hold her up with her sweater? Do you think this this pooch here would be a good subject?
Yes, that's a very cute one. All of them are good. I think my favorite pet portraits that I've gotten, I've done a lot of cats and dogs because most people have cats and dogs, but I've also done several guinea pigs. And I think that's when people are like, "Will you paint my guinea pig?" And I'm like, obviously I'll paint your guinea pig. So.
Any like reptiles or amphibians?
I've been waiting for that. I love lizards and frogs and stuff. And I'm like, please somebody let me paint a lizard. But no, I had someone reach out to me who wanted me to do a goat, but that didn't actually go through it. I'm so sad. I would have loved to do the goat, but
yeah.
Earmuffs real quick.
My friend recently don't give away
I want to ask her something.
My friend recently got a gecko and named him Basil, and I think that would be a cute portrait.
That's amazing.
Will you please earmuffs?
No, I'm not.
I want to ask AC something, please.
Okay.
AC, do you think I should have a commissioned portrait of the turtle, Raph, upstairs? Gandalf,
I think
Luna, or Minnie, or the whole plan.
Here's the thing. I feel like Erin D already heard you.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Like that's something you could have easily just sent me a text on right here.
Yeah.
She has no idea. She has no idea. Because then I'll give her clues that are kind of like misdirections.
But here's the thing. Now Erin D wants to go back and rewatch the episode. It's gonna be there, Mike.
Oh.
What I'm trying to get at is that if I decide to ever do anything like Money Heist, crime,
you can't bring him on.
Don't involve Mike V.
Okay, open an honest person.
You'll be done.
Nah, I immediately when I saw your stuff in the 3D gallery, I was like, oh man, that would be an excellent like t-shirt or album cover, because that's usually what our minds work. But also I was like, we have so many adorable like photos of our pets and stuff like that, and I just love your style, so it would be really cool to support you.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you usually get a photograph from the people that commission and then you just work off of that?
Yeah, so people send me like a bazillion pictures, which is really helpful because so the painting behind me, she actually wanted them with like their smiling faces, but she also wanted them to have ears. And like all the pictures she sent me, their ears are always like tucked back, so when they're smiling, they don't have any ears. So like I built the ears back on from other pictures.
Biology.
That's the science. That's the science.
Yeah. And I've also found that people, I don't know if this is, like scientific correlation or anything, but cat people tend to have these like curated libraries of their cats in every lighting and every like position. And they're very, very helpful. And I am also a cat lady and I'm totally guilty of that. So
they're a stiller animal, right? They're like more down to pose, I think. Cats.
Yeah, they just kind of sit and look.
Well, in some ways, then it probably becomes like a study. You've got like all your different poses of the subject, and you're able to, like with your scientific prowess, able to kind of put that together.
I'll have people send me like the worst reference image you could ever imagine. And I have to like figure out what this blob of a dog looks like. So sometimes those are, they're a little more challenging, but I've so far have not had anyone be like, that's not what my dog looks like at all. So I'll try to figure it out.
That's awesome.
You can't do their spirit.
He wants a dog super bad, this guy. I know he wants to get himself a dog. Would you also probably get your dog painted? A portrait of your dog? Your future dog that doesn't exist yet?
I don't know.
I mean, you have that huge, beautiful painting of the dogs playing poker behind your drum set.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean,
but those aren't my dogs.
Okay, fair.
Okay,
fair.
all right.
My bad.
So
I'm just no, I don't know. I don't know. I never really thought about it.
That's funny.
What kind of dog though do you want, AC?
It's funny you ask. I love boxers and pit bulls.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. But I had those in my kind of younger days.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm old now. So if something happens and I have to pick my dog up, I might not be able to pick up that 50-pound boxer. So
yeah, they're big.
I'm gonna throw everyone else off and get a miniature toy poodle because they're
Cute.
tiny.
Yeah.
Look, check it out. They're tiny.
Yeah.
They don't shed. They're super easy to train.
Yeah.
And they're super smart.
Yeah.
For me, being old,
that's a good answer.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been thinking about getting a dog, but I don't want the young dog with all the energy that you got to walk. I'm like, give me either a small dog or like an old dog. Like, I just want to take over. Like an 8-year-old is like over it, is basically a cat who just wants to go for like a short
that's
walk.
pretty much what Minnie is. She's like she gets her little feisty dachshund comes out, but she's like a cat, basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
On the back of the couch and doesn't do a whole lot.
And she was a couple of years older, and she's just like real cuddly and sweet, and it's real easy.
Pretty lucky. We love our animals for sure, and
so
we also have a turtle, reptile.
Yeah, we have a little.
How big a turtle? Like a smaller one or like a big?
He's little. He's
okay.
like
a red-eared slider named Raphael.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's a great name for a turtle.
Yeah, that's just
Ninja turtle.
I was living in an apartment complex. This guy had like a gigantic turtle that he would take for walks on the grass outside the building, and we were just like, where does it live? Like, I mean, it was like a sea turtle. Like, it was huge. And he had,
wow.
And like it was on a leash, which I thought was really funny because like it's like, how fast is it really gonna go? But he would walk it on a leash and then he would pick it up. And I mean, it was like both hands, like it had to have been at least 40 pounds. Like,
and probably old. What
Yeah.
what a character. What a character.
I was kind of afraid to approach it, but it would like dogs were always afraid of it because they're like, what the hell is this? They don't see
That's
the turtle.
dog.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That you should add that to a script.
I'm definitely gonna have someone walking a turtle at some point.
Yeah.
I love the Ninja Turtle too much, just like you guys. I can say that like I have to have a turtle in it at some point.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Caroline, we kind of know your kind of backstory with mental health a little bit. Justin, if you want to answer, what how does like art and film and everything kind of like coincide with mental health for you?
Well, I'm thinking of exploring this more and more, just like thinking about it. And so I had a very, very rough childhood, like kind of in and out of child services and like moving constantly all over California. And I realized as I've gotten older, one of my attraction to movies was that they're the same every time you put them on. Like that was like, it gave me there's a cat. Gave me a consistency I could never get in life. It's like, it was like, they were like my protectors, like the Ninja Turtles. I would watch that movie on a loop, and I like as a kid, I was like, I must have just liked this movie. But as I get older, I'm like, oh no, they were consistent. Like you knew what was going to happen. That gave me this like safeness and this like distraction and joy. And I think that I can like really watch that. Like as I've gone more and more into what I want to do as a filmmaker, I'm like, that's what I want to bring. I want to bring back like being able to like communicate with something else a 10-year-old wants to play and watch and like get relief. Like it's as much as I like making scary, fun, like dark stuff, I'm like, in the end, I want something that like protects you. Like that's, I think like as I've gotten older, that's what art in movies is like. Same with like I just put these on, and even when I'm depressed or going through a really low period, I return to the stuff that I loved as a youth, and it's like they're your protectors. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but like that, I realize as I've gotten older, that's exactly why I want to make movies, is like offer this protection to people. Like this is something that can be consistent, that you'll enjoy, that you can trust that'll always be there. And I think that's like kind of how my entryway into art. Like I never knew that as you're making art. Like I don't like you don't until you get older really connect that way. But I think that is absolutely like the thing I was looking for.
Yeah, when I was in art school, I feel like everybody was like analyzing things to such a intense degree. And I still have some friends that are like that. And sometimes I just have to say to them, like, just go to the movie, just go to the Marvel movie and have fun.
Yep.
Just let yourself have fun and like let it go a little bit, because it's okay that it's just like a fluffy thing.
Yeah.
But I think that also like in the pandemic, I've found so much like solace in watching things and not worrying about the outside world, and like I need that so much sometimes.
Yeah, like Caroline, I really recognize in your story, like going to art school and like the teachers are like hypercritical and they're training everyone to be hypercritical. And it's like you're taking away what everyone actually likes about this stuff. Like it's great. I think great art can be made through that process, and I understand it. But like you're also like throwing off a ton of people from what they actually wanted to do and their joy from it. And like I remember being in film school and being like, I don't know, I think Point Break is high art. It doesn't have to be like. It's incredible, and people watch it over and over, and like they'd be like, "No, it's just stupid." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay," but like it's that enjoyment we can pull out of it. Like it doesn't all have to be like you're saying, Aaron. Like just go enjoy yourself. Like studying art sometimes can ruin art for a period, and I think like reconnecting to that joy has been like one of my favorite parts of my 30s. Was like, oh, I actually still like movies. I like doing this. I like making goofy things that make people laugh or like jump up and like excited. And I think art needs more of that. I think the art gives us hope. Exactly that. Like, you know, I don't need to watch like a Requiem for a Dream or like one of these like very, very dark movies that aren't experienced, but like just once. I don't need to do that again. I want my Point Break. I want my Star Wars. I want Ninja Turtles. Like
Totally.
Let's
into it. That familiar narrative. Like did you watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when you were younger?
Religiously, and try to live it.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite turtle? Let's ask everybody.
Favorite turtle would have to be for sure Michelangelo.
Oh, nice.
So I always go through this with you. I always
orange headband.
So
Michelangelo. Orange.
So he's the serious philosophical one.
No, he's
the party animal.
Cowabunga pizza.
That's why I like
the serious one.
Well, there's two serious.
Leonardo's the most serious because he thinks he's the leader. Donatello's more of a nerd, intellectual.
Yeah.
I also serious, but like has a silly streak.
Yeah.
I think it's Donatello. Because
that feels right. If I had to just know you a little bit, Aaron, I
think that it's that one that I'm always like, I like him.
Caroline, do you have any TMNT roots? Do you have a turtle that you identify with?
I used to be a lifeguard, and we used to like argue about this when we were in in a little lifeguard hut. Yeah. And I feel like I just always was a Raphael person. So
yeah, same. I feel like I'm a Raphael, but I think more and more I'm Donatello in real life. I have this image of myself as a broody. But again, I'm like, I'm probably just the annoying nerd who's really into this. I think it's the
man.
Donatello also, I really like the Beast in X-Men. And I think they kind of like are
nice
similar.
Parallel.
Yeah,
it's like a good like character type, and I feel like a tie-dye of all four turtles. I guess maybe Moody, but I guess the standout moment in that live action movie that I watched a million times is when I was younger and like bad words were such a big deal. when Raph loses his tie and he's just in the middle of New York City, he's like, damn, like really loud and dramatic. I'd be like, oh.
Well, I have this like weird. I have this memory of as a kid being like on the playground in like 3rd or 4th grade, and we're all playing Ninja Turtles, and I remember like telling kids, no, do it like this. This will make like I was already directing as a child how to play Ninja Turtles correctly. So I think that was like that was like they're really, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, the Ninja Turtles really were like a whole way into my life that I think means more than I realize.
Entire generations, it permeated the zeitgeist or the pop culture of the time. Because like I have kindergarten drawings of all the turtles, and I had a clubhouse with my kindergarten friends, and we just churned out drawings of Ninja Turtles, and my mom kept some of those things. And all kidding aside and all silliness aside, what you said earlier, Justin, about like that stability of a familiar narrative and how it can be soothing, and like a lot of times it's that story that there is some conflict, but there's resolution, and like good usually triumphs over evil. You know, Shredder is gonna like not just have turtle soup, right? And I think that's a powerful, hopeful part of movies. And I think that jubilation that you're talking about for your own filmmaking and like your own aspirations, I think it is represented visually in the artwork of Caroline, because like it's just so much fun, and like the colors are really vibrant and stuff. Actually, we have you you have a wing in the 3D gallery, correct?
Yeah, I do.
Maybe Dan can pull up that 3D gallery for us in a second. We can kind of see your stuff in the virtual space. I think that would be so fun. You guys into that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So if you haven't checked out this virtual gallery, there's photos, there's paintings, there's photos of paintings too, which extra super duper meta. And if we cruise right over on to this gallery, oh my goodness.
Oh, the watermelon one.
Don't you want to just get up in it? And first of all, Caroline, is there one that you want to zoom in on particularly to talk about at the moment?
I don't like. I picked these 4. I've done a lot of these because I think I just loved the way they came out. So I guess the one on the Rhiannon, the cat with the crown and the cape and the big fat belly. I just this my friend commissioned it for her friend who Rhiannon passed away, and she sent me these pictures of this cat that just always sat like this with this big pink naked belly flapping out. I was like, this is the cutest cat I've ever seen. Like, what a ridiculous animal. And they were like, you choose the queen, and they were like, so can you like put her in some royal stuff? And I really love that, because most people are like, I can do that kind of stuff, but people don't ask me to do it. So yeah, I think the pet portraits for me have like really become sort of a means to an end. Like, I love doing them, but they also like fund my personal art, and they also like help me pay for all my tattoos, which is awesome. And I love giving them to people, and they make people so happy when they're like, oh my God, that's my cat. And I love that. And everyone always gives me these like really elaborate backstories. So the one next to it is Gemma, and she gave me this whole story about how like Gemma loves feathers and greeny treats, and she always attacks this plant, so she must love this plant. And I'm like, she probably just wants to eat the plant, because that's what my cats want to do. But I just like, people like love their pets so much, and they trust me with that kind of thing, especially the memorial portraits. I always like, there's nothing really quite like losing your pet. It's sort of like really, really jarring. And that people trust me to like make that memorial of their pet. I always, I think about that a lot while I'm doing those portraits, and I really want to depict like the way that animal was when it was still your little buddy with you hanging out. And I think the pet portrait thing is a lot of people sort of default back to it as a lot of artists that I really admire in the pandemic started making pet portraits because that was a way to sort of get income in. And I've had some people be like, oh, like pet portraits, and I'm like, they're still art, and they're still really fun, and like you can have a really good time making these things that just make people happy. And it just because it's not like a still life with a candle and like a vase, like it's still a piece of art. And yeah, it's something that I really enjoy, and it is very helpful to be able to have money to go and buy all your paint to make my painting that I worked on just personally for myself for a really long time was a humongous painting of sea slugs, which took me forever, but pet portraits helped me buy all the ridiculous pieces to make my humongous sea slug painting. So
that's cool.
That's really cool.
Did you on the right one, did you choose the flower, or did your commissioner?
Yeah, so I actually asked people like, what do you want in there? What colors are you interested in? Do you have particular flowers? And so this was actually for my best friend's mom. It's her cat, Petey, and the dog, Maddie. And she told me she wanted sort of peonies and stuff like that because her mom loves peonies. But it's helpful to me when people tell me what they want, but I get a lot of people are like, just do whatever you want. And I'm like, that's so hard because I don't know what you'll actually want from me. So yeah, I do appreciate when people are very specific. And yeah, so those flowers, she gave me all the freedom with the colors and stuff, and I appreciated that. But yeah, she requested those because her mom loves peonies. So
cool.
Those kind of remind me of some of your tattoos. You got a couple flower tattoos, correct?
Oh yeah.
Do you kind of draw some inspiration from tattoo art in your work?
Yeah, it's interesting because since I've started getting tattooed pretty frequently, I've started noticing that like I try to incorporate some of the way that like florals are structured in tattoos. I actually use tattoo stencils and stuff as references for a lot of flowers because they're constructed in a way that's really like visually obvious. You know what it is. It's very well laid out. They're very visually appealing. So yeah, definitely something that I've started thinking about. And you know, one of the ways I communicate with my tattoo artist, who is one of my very dear friends now, is I'll be like, here's a really bad doodle. Can we make that into a tattoo? And I think that's definitely something that's made me feel more like an artist. One of the first public gallery shows I did was actually at my tattoo shop. They invited me to be part of their like annual Beyond gallery show, and that was really, really cool because I admire them all so much as artists. It was the first time I ever really felt like an artist because I had this feeling because I didn't go to art school and I am a scientist and that sort of stuff, like you're not a real artist, and that's sort of like insidious imposter syndrome thing that I think a lot of artists deal with. But that was a really cool experience for me as well. And yeah, tattoos have become a huge part of my life and artistic influences as well.
I saw you do one of these.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah.
So, like, you started talking about art and the doodling and taking it to your artist. So I guess it's kind of a two-part question. One, with you being an artist, would you ever consider doing tattoos? And then two, that's awesome that you're able to go to your friend like, hey, I drew this. Can you make this work? Does that at all feel kind of weird or make you feel, I guess, uncomfortable? Like, hey, this is what I drew. Put it on me. Like, does that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So I have a really good understanding with my artist that like, I don't want you to tattoo the drawing that I made. I'm just really bad at communicating in words what I'm thinking. So I'll bring these ideas and be like, these are my ideas, but I want you to make it however you want to make it. And I also I love artist pre-drawns. I have all kinds of like tattoos that I'm just like, that's the coolest drawing I've ever seen. I want that on my, that's amazing. And I think one thing that I do struggle with is people ask me to design tattoos for them. And I know a lot of tattoo artists and I really respect them and they are incredible artists. And something about like having someone bring my art to somebody else and be like, make this for me, I find very unsettling. I don't mind sitting and like helping people sort of map out ideas and talking with people, but I don't love the idea of designing tattoos for other people to bring to other artists to make. And to answer your first question, that's sort of like my fantasy land. Like I quit being a scientist and I just go become a tattoo apprentice and become a tattoo artist. Especially I'm doing my PhD right now and it's a little bit grueling, and on days when things are not going well, I'm like, I'm just going to be done. I'm going to leave. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever let you like try it with the tattoo gun? Like, I wonder how transferable.
No. So I haven't asked. I've never done it. I think for me, like drawing is really challenging, and drawing and painting are, at least for me, not the same part of my brain. Drawing feels like the math version of art. And I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how it feels for me. So it's very precise, and I just can't imagine taking a tattoo needle and like I'm very sketchy and stuff, and you can't like sketch on someone and then fix the lines later. Like you kind of have to do that, and I respect them really deeply. So for that sort of talent.
What was the name of the royal cat?
Rhiannon. So like the Fleetwood Mac song.
So hear me out, Justin.
Yeah.
Do you think Rhiannon has legs as far as like maybe an animated short?
Oh, I would watch this cat with her. I could already see the morning cartoon we could create. Like,
I could see a collaboration.
Catdom Come. I'm like trying to think of the pun title it needs to be the cartoon show. That would be.
I don't know. It's remarkable. It reminds me of the comic strip we tried to make, the cat burglar. It was actually a cat that was the cat burglar.
Yeah. We drew a lot of it out, and it was real cute.
Yeah, like it definitely had some legs. The what was the Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre, and
you had me at Meow Lisa. Like I'm in. That's a great bad
that's
pun
pretty awesome.
here.
That's amazing. And Dan, can you kind of just show us how people can get around this gallery, like the functionality of it a little bit? Because I think it's just so cool. You can, and it looks like there's some navigation buttons in the lower corner where you can kind of, Art Gives Us Hope is aguh.org, as you can see. And then it loads the gallery up and you can explore it however you like. There's a bunch of different toggle features. You can kind of go through it one piece by piece and visit the different wings of all these amazing, talented visual artists. We talked about Shannon Conway. There's a little Shannon Conway stuff over here, and So, who did the posters. Here's Shannon Conway we're looking at right now, and those prints can also be purchased on a t-shirt at their Etsy store, so that's pretty cool. Here's some of So's work. So is in France and is responsible for just the kind of the vibe of the event poster for the inaugural Art Gives Us Hope. And yeah, just so much more. There's photos in there. Christy Lopez was on our show for the Hope Lounge last night. Chris Laurie was on a panel who took these amazing photographs.
Talk about capturing moments.
Yeah, look at that. That last one's so perfect.
Yeah, so just really fun stuff to explore. And it's not going anywhere. It'll be up till January 2nd. So you should really take time to appreciate all the artists that have lended their talents to the inaugural Art Gives Us Hope Festival.
I love that this is a virtual gallery, but I also wish I could go see them all like this.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, Aaron. I was just like, I love that you can kind of like have this digital space where you can just like walk around and get lost. But I'm like, it would be really awesome to be able to do it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, who knows? Maybe one of these days, there's some of that meta stuff where it's pictures of pieces. I really like that.
Yeah.
And like, there's a slap that we talked about with Christy last night. Which is a whole
like Christy
subgenre.
does like she's been adding like flourishes of kind of gold paint or stuff over her over like she'll kind of map stuff out in drawing or pens, and then she'll put it into digital and add color, and then sometimes she'll take it out of that and she'll put flourishes of gold in there, and it's just like it would be great to just get your face right up in there.
Yeah. So, man, thank you, Dan, for taking us around and there's Myron's work. There's Selena Lee's got some really cool Watermelon World stuff where it's almost like she's reinterpreting some classical pieces, but the buildings and the organic shapes and stuff are watermelon. So kind of share in common with this beautiful pet portrait on this page with the flowers and the watermelon. So please check that out. Please support all the artists. And, you know, the best compliment that you can give any of these artists and any of the people that gave their energy to this festival is to get excited about it enough to tell your friends and tell a bunch of them about it so that we can connect the dots. That's what the network's all about. So thanks for sharing that 3D gallery with us, Dan. Let's start winding down. All right.
Is there anything else that you guys want to share or talk about? Just like to ask that straight out, I guess.
Yeah. Is there anything we didn't cover that you want the viewers to know about as far as how they can support you, or just some words in closing?
John, you got anything?
No, I'm like thinking, oh boy.
I right now have nothing like really. I mean, I have a website with some of my work on that's just justinstillmaker.com. But really, I want to reinforce that message of like, don't be scared to just create something. Like art gives us hope for a reason. Like just start making things. You'll find your way. Don't like listen to like, oh, it's not as good as I wanted it to be, because like that's what immediately stops you. Just do it. Like there's nothing like it. Find your joy in it, because like that is what it's for. And other people will sense that. And so that's just like how I'd like to end it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think one of the greatest things before I ever started putting art on social media was just making art for yourself and not making art for likes and not making art because other people like it. Just make it for yourself. You never know what someone else is going to resonate with, but you know what you need to create to make yourself feel better. And I think it doesn't have to be the best thing you ever made. Every time you sit down to make something, you can make whatever it is you want to make, and you don't have to be an artist to make art either. There's a lot of ways to sit down and be creative and really enjoy different mediums and play around with stuff and not make, like the next Van Gogh painting, but whatever you make is really special just because it's the way you've made it.
Yeah, take that pressure off yourself. Just do it for fun, and then it'll find where it needs to go from there.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, it reminds me of the early days of YouTube. People were making their own TV show, like for their first time. They're like, "This is my channel. I can do whatever I want." And some of them have like completely made a career out of it, and some of them just maybe continue to do it just for the love of doing it. And if you're somebody that wants to paint or draw, and you just like are struggling with drawing forms or painting, you can always pick up a hobby like I did, like collage. Take all your old magazines. There's cool pictures in every magazine, and a lot of them just end up in a landfill. So
we like to have people over and to make
collage
collages
parties.
And I think
I like that.
It's a good way to just like
I think collage is amazing.
Like, I haven't done this since I was a kid, and you're like it's like just. And then they make this amazing thing that happened kind of recently with Jackson.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll make like a vision board without realizing it, and it's like, did you make one of those when you were younger? And they're like, actually, yeah. Like, and they just got into the hands-on cutting along a line that already is there. Like for some reason, for me, is super soothing. And
I also want to add, have fun and don't think about it too hard, and also that it's like never too late. My friend's grandmother was an art docent at museums, and she would always just like go on these take people on these tours in these museums. But as she got older, she started sculpting, and she ended up just being this amazing sculptor. Like she would make these little bronze statues, and they were so gorgeous. And my own grandmother, after she had a stroke, she started painting. That was like, she couldn't talk, she couldn't write, but she started making landscape paintings, and they were amazing. And she was, 65 or something. And it was like, my dad and his sisters were like, I didn't know my mom had this in her. Like, holy cow, these are beautiful. So, it's like it's never too late either,
Yeah. Art could be anything too. The way you plate your food is beautiful sometimes, where you make that piece of artwork. Isn't that something that your bandmate's into a lot too? Isn't Yvonne like want to frame her plates?
Yeah, she makes eggs.
She'll make an egg and
one of my singers for my band, the Locals, shout out to Yvonne. Every day she makes herself an egg, and she'll plate it and design it, and it's every
sauce,
it's crazy.
Squiggle, the like sprig of something. And that satisfaction of looking down at your plate of food before you eat it and appreciating it. I don't know. I'm no scientist, but maybe it'll help you absorb more nutrients. It's a theory. We can test it. It's a hypothesis. Scientific method will prevail. But yeah, this has been really awesome. A really great way to start our Sunday. Really great way to kick off day 3 of Art Gives Us Hope.
But Ben asked Justin, what are you working on these days?
Well, I'm wrapping up a cyberpunk short film, and then I did a little like thriller involving a drone stalking a person, and then I am pitching Twitch a TV show that I can't talk too much about yet, but I'm having a couple meetings with them that I'm pretty excited about, like kind of combining the filmmaking and immersive theater in kind of an interesting way, because like Twitch has its own fun ways of engaging viewers in like a different way. So it was like kind of cool to get out of how I normally think of things and like go in that direction. So I'm kind of excited about that. Hopefully I can come back and talk about it when it's actually being done.
Yeah, cool.
That's great.
Well,
wait, let me pull up the schedule for the day and I'll read that off to close us out. But something just happened in the chat. I think we need to address.
Yeah.
Are you studying parasites at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm a parasitologist.
Oh my
goodness! I like to call myself a card-carrying parasitologist because I've actually worked on more than one parasite. When I first started researching, I worked on parasitic infections of seals and whales for about 6 years, and those were worms. And I made diagnostic assays for seals. I think the greatest moment of my scientific career was a zoo in Albuquerque sent me an email and was like, can we use your test to test our seal baby for seal heartworm? And I was like, oh my God, please. And they sent me all these pictures of this seal, and they tested her and they treated her, and she's alive and happy and doing seal stuff.
Yeah, lifesaver.
That's so cool.
And then when I left my undergrad and my master's degree, I went on, and I'm now studying a single-celled parasite called Babesia. It is a parasite transmitted by ticks, the same sort of ticks that transmit Lyme disease. And yeah, I love parasites. I love all the parasites I'm very interested in. And, you know, if you got me started talking about parasites, I'll never stop. So
so interesting. Wow.
That's wild.
Well, we had to at least acknowledge that bit before we wrap up today, because that's really cool. That's really unique.
Yeah, and I'll just note I have a on the back of my left calf, the whole thing is tattooed with every parasite I've ever worked on. So I really love parasites.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
Man, I bet you and her would have like similar ideas for tattoos, because she like scours the biological like drawings, illustrations of plants and bumblebees and stuff, just to find the perfect one that she wants to get. So
yeah, like the Ernst Haeckel drawings. Those are
those are so wild.
Prime time.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
What is the biggest parasite you've ever worked on? Like,
so I sequenced the genome of a parasite called Crassicota bupus. Best name in the whole world. It is a worm that infects blue whales and humpback whales and finback whales, and it is a kidney parasite. And it's so big that you can't actually like extract the whole worm because it's all like twisted up in the kidneys, but it's generally like 30 feet long. It's pretty gross.
It's a tapeworm on steroids, bro.
Oh, no. Don't like that.
It's scary. It's scary.
Great name, but no.
I know. We used to, when we were researching it, we used bupus as like a term of excitement, and so I made shirts for my research team when I had a team of undergrads, and they just say bupus on the front. So,
like with the comic book, like bang.
It's our like favorite word. It was like our greeting. Just everything was bupus. So.
That's perfect.
Well, it's been so fascinating and so enlightening to chat with y'all, learn about your lives, learn about your art form, and how
I feel like I could talk to you guys all day long. It's so great.
We have to make way for the rest of this jam-packed lineup for Sunday, December 19th. Art Gives Us Hope. This was the Tomorrow Show Brunch Special. At 1:30 Central Standard Time, we've got Raising the Visibility with Carl Evans. This theme, suicide and prevention. At 3 p.m., we're going to have a music feature from Sound Mind featuring some members of the Chicago Civic Orchestra. I believe it's a piece for a sextet, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty cool. We've got the second film feature. They will be screening Goodnight, Mr. Van Gogh and Faces of Suicide. Private screening, once again, just reminding you that's to keep them eligible for all their opportunities with film festivals across the globe, which is pretty exciting for them as filmmakers. Support them, buy a ticket to the private screening, and know that the screenings will be available through January 2nd as well to continue to raise money for the cause and the artists. And finally, shutting down the Art Gives Us Hope inaugural festival.
Guardrail.
Yeah, we got a performance and interview with Guardrail, with kick-ass band. So
it's been such an awesome weekend. I was working, so I still got to go back and watch a lot of stuff. But
that's the beauty of it.
So excited.
Yeah, if you couldn't catch it live, please tune into a rebroadcast, and you can also find it in later dates on the YouTube for the Hope for Us network. So
awesome.
Anything you want to add, my man?
No, it's been fun. It's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for sharing with me your Nutcracker collection. That was like, it was interesting to learn that part about you, and then like the story behind it. So
low key, I don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
I'm opening up.
Now the entire world could know.
And we'll be hitting up Caroline for our commissions, our pet portraits. We're probably waiting until after the holiday rush dies down. So
Yeah, you can ask me parasite questions too.
Parasite questions, fire them off. And I don't think this will be the last we'll be seeing of this group of creators. So please tune in to the rest of the day's programming. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you, everybody involved.
Thank you guys for sticking around for so long and for all of your insights. And yeah, you guys are so awesome.
You guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Good night, everybody.
Good day,
Good night,
guys.
Twitch. Enjoy our Ghosts of Hope. Thank you, Dan, for running the show.